Hey you guys, this is Paris with Loudlight, and welcome back to our weekly recaps on what is going on in the Kansas legislature. Let's get right to it. Sorry, Davis. The legislature overrode Governor Laura Kelly's veto of a bill that allows Attorney General Chris Kobach to investigate any Kansans suspected of using the restroom that isn't the one marked for their sex assigned at birth. The bill has broad, undefined investigation and enforcement requirements and also allows the bathroom bounty hunters to report those they suspect and seek financial compensation. While the bill originally focused on creating legal definitions for sex and gender that are inaccurate, it was expanded in committee to include the bathroom ban without public comment. The bill will now go into effect. A bill that bans undocumented Kansans from receiving benefits they are already ineligible for would have also banned in-state tuition for immigrant students after an executive order defined in-state rates as public benefits. Although House Speaker Daniel Hawkins skipped the committee process, legislators were still able to amend the bill on the House floor and remove the in-state tuition ban. Because the bill was amended, it was sent back to the Senate for approval, but instead they sent it to a conference committee where lawmakers from both chambers meet to negotiate bills. In committee, Senator Mike Thompson rejected the amendment to the bill, despite the same amendment narrowly failing in the Senate when introduced by Vice President Tim Schallenberger. Representative Tom Kessler told Senator Thompson that the House rarely sees a unanimous vote and that the House wants the amendment to stay in the bill. The short committee meeting ended with legislators tentatively agreeing to meet at a later date, but when another scheduled committee arrived, House members stood up Senator Mike Thompson.
For 12:15, we sent out notice this morning, early this morning, I think it was probably 7:45, to the members of the House committee. But as of 12:25, they have not shown up. I want to thank the staff, our advisors, and everybody for showing up. We will likely reconvene with a meeting next week to continue. It's been a week since we had our last conference committee, and would like to come to some resolution on Senate Bill 254.
So yeah, the House was actually in recess when this meeting was scheduled, so it looks like they just didn't show up. This week, the House passed a bill that requires citizenship status to be listed on driver's licenses. During the debate, lawmakers raised concerns about racial profiling, unconstitutional requirements for voting, and the failure to include the cost and plan for implementation. The bill is one of several advanced by Representative Pat Proctor and is pushed to require documentary proof of citizenship to vote, which has already been ruled unconstitutional. Representative Pat Proctor has repeatedly falsely stated in committee that the Kansas Constitution does not require citizenship to vote, despite being publicly corrected by bill revisers who offered to read the Kansas Constitution to Chairman Proctor.
I hate to have something on video forever without correcting it. One of the conferees said that it's currently in the Kansas Constitution that you have to be a U.S. citizen to vote. Is that in fact true?
There is a provision in the Constitution that to be a qualified elector, you have to be a citizen.
Okay, I don't believe that's correct. I believe we have an amendment that's going to be on the ballot in November of this year that would add U.S. citizen as one of the requirements.
It's true, but let me get the Constitution and I'll read exactly what it says.
Okay, thank you.
Ouch. Shortly after, Representative Proctor admitted he was wrong in committee.
I humbly submit that I was wrong. Thank you.
There it is. Kansas legislative leadership has expressed their goal to cut overspending despite being the writers of the state budget. House Speaker Daniel Hawkins and Senate President Ty Masterson have focused on cutting spending specifically in higher education, hiring former Emporia State University president and former fraternity brother of Speaker Hawkins, Ken Hush, at a rate of $10,000 a month to assist them. A few weeks ago, a House committee approved a higher education budget that cuts funding for colleges and holds $12 million hostage until schools remove educational material on critical race theory and diversity, equity, and inclusion. While lawmakers refuse to fully fund special education in public schools, the House passed a bill that enrolls Kansas into a federal private school voucher program and expands an experimental Brownback-era tax credit program for low-income students. Both policies expand public spending on unaccredited, unregulated private schools that are not required to meet academic standards. Another bill that passed out of the Senate would require families to pass an income check for their children to receive free lunches in schools. Senator Doug Schoen, who introduced the bill, remarked that he wanted to make sure resources are being used responsibly. The school lunch bill is now heading to the House. We are now about halfway through the legislative session, and there are still so many bills that are up in the air and being worked on right now. So please follow us on social media so you can stay updated throughout the week, and of course, we'll see you next week for our next weekly recap video. Stay tuned, stay engaged, and until next time, thank you so much, Kansas.